vision. I'm not a vision builder this anymore.
Welcome to the home of the New York State champions in soccer! We even have the Eagle with us! Yay! And we have the kindergartners. Are you all present and accounted for? Everybody here, all kindergartners? Are the seniors here? Seniors? There are a few here. I guess we're ready to go. I'm going to be turning the show over to other people very shortly, but I do have a few things to say to get us started, and then I'll be closing our assembly today with a few words as well. I met the principal from Smithtown Christian at Oneonta on Saturday, and in talking with it was a woman actually, in talking with the woman, she asked a question because she had seen the brochure as far as how many times Chazy had been to the Final Four. And she says, what brings Chazy repeatedly to the Final Four? Now, she's talking about the boys. And I also added to her, well, our girls have been quite successful as well. Over the course of how many years, Mr. Dumont? The last 6 years, we've come to the Final Four 5 times out of 6 years. There's many factors that make that possible. But 3 that I mentioned to her were the following. We have a youth soccer program that is second to none in the state of New York. And I say that to all the participants which are out in the audience and our past participants which are on the stage. Our youth soccer program is excellent in Chazy. Another thing that I mentioned were our coaches and support staff that are willing to put the time in to bring us to the next level of competition. Coaching at Chazy is not just having a practice from 3:15 to 4:30. Coaching at Chazy is much, much more than that. If you don't believe me, sometimes you'll see Mr. McAuliffe and Mr. Norcross out on the field, either watering it, mowing it, getting divots out of it, rolling it this last few weeks, etc. And the other, which is extremely important, is a community that is so supportive of our school and our teams, and our soccer team in particular. This is part of Chazy. And let me tell you, it is recognized around the state of New York. Winning just doesn't happen. It is earned and needs to be treated with respect. Don't ever take winning for granted, or you will end up like my favorite town outside of Chazy, a place called the City of Boston in 1918. They took winning world championships for granted. And in 1918, they never saw another world championship for 86 years. They don't take it for granted anymore. So that's something that we need to remember. Never, ever take winning for granted, that it's just something expected. It's something that is earned and worked very hard for. Without any further ado, we need to have a little fun and excitement. One of our biggest fans at the Final Four for the boys, she's been there for girls, she's also known as a ticket taker at games, is Emily Gilmore. Would Emily Gilmore please come up here? Emily. Now Emily, there she comes. For those of you that listen to Wiry, you might have heard a voice in the background.
Yeah.
And it was Emily. Well, Emily, I got something to help your voice as you lead us in a cheer for... Okay. Take it away, Emily. She doesn't need a microphone.
Give me a C. C. Give me an H. H. Give me an A. A. Give me a Z. Z. Give me a Y. Y. What does that spell? Chazy.
What's that spell?
Chazy.
All right, Emily. That's good. Without any further ado, I'm going to turn the show over to Mr. Joseph Dumoulin, Coach Dumoulin, who is the varsity coach for the state champions in girls soccer for Class D, Mr. Joseph Dumoulin.
Before we do anything else, the girls would like to congratulate the boys for 3 championships in 4 years. Congratulations. There are a few people who need to be up here. We've had 2 ball girls who did all our games, I think, with 1 at home. I'd like Bailey Pepper and Sarah Bolrus to come up here, please. I would also like the 2 ball girls who were with us at the Final Four. In beautiful weather, they could have been wearing shorts and just getting a tan, and that would be Megan Reynolds and Emily Favreau. Thank you so much for all your help. This is just a little memento from the 2007 Girls Soccer Championship in New York State. I also have draft 1.
Where did you
I'd also like to invite up here our JV coach who came to the Final Four and was a big help, Corey Thompson. Come on up. Corey, thank you. Sorry, there doesn't appear to be any Lindt chocolates left. How about a hug? I had to hug Corey because I whacked him in the arm during one of the games. I won't tell you why. And by the way, this is the trophy. It's really nice and heavy and it looks great. And for the girls, first time ever in any sport here at Chazy for New York State Championship. Well, I also want to tell you how very pleased we are to be able to celebrate, to share our joy with all of you in being the 2007 New York State Class D Girls Soccer Champions. All sounds good. You know, how many of you play soccer? How many of you play soccer? Pretty much that says it all, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got to be Chazy. It's got to be. You know, it's a really simple game. All you need is a ball, an open space, and a friend, and you can have a good time for hours. That's what makes soccer just so much fun and so beautiful. And I know you guys, when you're playing, you have a great time, and you're going to continue to. I mean, we have between boys and girls over 120, well over 120 participants from 7 through 12 in the modified JV and varsity programs. And that's pretty darn amazing. I don't know what the total number of kids in 7 through 12 is, but it's not too much more than double that. So that's just amazing. And all of you playing soccer out there are going to continue the wonderful tradition here at Chazy. And some of you guys, some of you gals are going to be up here. And not that long from now, not that long, it goes by quick, you're going to be up here as champions as well. So keep playing, keep having a good time, keep finding a friend. Even in the snow, you'll be okay, you won't get hurt.
Yeah, on ice.
So what matters? What matters when you're playing? It certainly isn't the color of your uniform, right? But it just may be the strength of your heart and your mind and your body. It's certainly not the field you play on, because we played on a lot of different fields, but it's the game you play on that field. It's certainly not who your opponent is, but it's who you play the game with, your friends, your teammates, the ones you depend upon. Together, a team can accomplish anything. The game together is what really matters. And that's why I'm so very, very proud of these girls. Because of their game with each other, that game together. That's what makes them champions. It made them champions before they won it. Because that's what makes champions, is how you play the game together. Teamwork is one of these girls' biggest advantages over other teams. They take care of each other, they play for each other, they encourage each other, they cover for each other, they celebrate each other, they forgive each other, and they do this all the time, in all things and all time. They're together. That makes them very powerful as a team. If you were at the Final Four, and I know many who were there, even if you weren't, the conditions were pretty brutal on the first day that they played. It was night because the other team went over. About 4:30, I think, got on the field. The snow was covering sidelines, a couple feet deep in piles. There were ice cubes. It was like playing on ice cubes, Shotty Trombley said, right through the middle of the field. The wings and the 18-yard boxes were shoveled off, but that was about it. 18-degree wind chill. I think the temperature was 26, and it was simply brutal out there. And they played the best game of their season against Arkport. And Arkport beat us last year in the championship game. I got to tell you, it's not revenge, but it sure was sweet. Hours later, they played a very good team from Lyme, another North Country team. And they had the same uniforms in the same color, same style. Some of their fans thought we were them and were cheering for us as they came by in their buses. It was kind of funny. They were a very good team, and they gave us a very good game. 80 minutes of soccer, 2 10-minute overtimes, 2 5-minute sudden death. It ended 0-0. In those 2 games, these girls had to fight for everything out on that field. And they had to do it together. For every ball, for every goal, for every minute, for each other, for the victory. Our motto has been, since we lost to E-Town, I shouldn't even mention the name in our play, should I? But anyway, since we lost to them back in September, that defeat was not an option. And that there wouldn't be a ball in the net. Pretty much accomplished all of that. I think there was 1 more, maybe 2 more balls in the net, games that didn't matter. But after 6 balls in the net, that was the end of that. So, in introducing these girls, as I know, I really will give you a few moments, Robert. In introducing these girls, I want you to know, again, that they were out there where you young boys and girls are not that many years ago. In fact, one of them, an 8th grader, was out there about 6 years ago, down at the 2nd grade level, right? So, it'll come quick. But if you keep playing the game, you'll be up here. And girls, remember, the game is beautiful. You can play it that way, and you can be that way while you're doing it. But you're also going to take some hits. These girls can tell you about that if you get a chance to talk to them. It is a contact. It is a full contact sport. And the boys can really tell you about that. You saw the last game. That was a definite full contact sport. But it's the same way on the girls' side. It's just pretty brutal sometimes. Okay, I am going to introduce our girls by grade. If you would just stand, call your name, please. 8th grader Caitlin Lapeer. 9th grader Ozzie Kempen. 10th grader Devin Latchman. I think she has a brother Kevin, I'm not sure. 10th grader Victoria Reynolds. Victoria won the Sportsmanship Award at the contest. Last year it was Caitlin Howley, so that's a very nice tradition. 10th grader Morgan Rusi. 11th graders Bridget Dahl. Liz Favreau. Jessica Guerin. Madeline Gay. Madeline is the captain. She was also the offensive player at the tournament this year. Great job. Jennifer Levine. Megan Ryan. Johnny Trombley. 12th graders, Captain Brittany Goodrow. Heather Gay. Captain Samantha Levine. Alan Mitchell. Our keeper, 20 shutouts this year, the new girls state record, Casey Olds. Marie Trombley. And Gabby Whedon. There is a assistant coach here, the modified coach, who could, she's not here, she could not be with us because she had to go back and take her classes, Carissa House. And Carissa was with us at the Final Four, and thanks to Carissa, a few of these girls actually did finally put some Under Armour on that they really needed. She had to convince them by her stories of almost freezing to death at one of the college games, and having girls laid out for hours. She was, well, I won't tell you the whole story, but it got to the point where they actually believed her. I've never been able to get a couple of these girls to wear the Under Armour, and they actually did. So it's always good to hear it from someone who's been there. Carissa was a great player here as well, and a big help. Going to be a big help next year. I want to finish by just thanking the community for all the support. It was just wonderful to come in last night with the escort, the lights and sirens, the cars pulling over the side. It was a wonderful experience for the girls and for me. Couldn't be better. It's kind of like a movie. Boys and girls together, rolling into town, state champions. You got to write that script. It hardly ever is a reality. In fact, I'm not sure it's been a reality in New York State till now. The support has been great. It has been such an honor to coach them. You can't believe what a wonderful group of young ladies they are. And boy, do they play soccer. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Dumlin. Now I'd like to take two of the girls that are up here, because I know what their favorite word became over the weekend. They're going to help me with my favorite cheer. Could I have, could I have Sarah Bulris and Bailey Pepper, front and center. What's the word, girls?
Intensity.
Give me an R.
I.
Give me an N.
N.
Give me a T.
T.
Give me an E.
E.
Give me an N.
N.
Give me an S.
S.
Give me an I.
I.
Give me a T.
T.
Give me a Y.
Y.
What's that spell?
Intensity.
I can't hear you. That's better. Intensity now. Thank you, girls. Great job. Now, without any further ado, Coach McCall.
Thank you, Mr. Mulligan. Just quickly, I thank you all for coming here, and I'd just like to thank a few people. One person who often gets overlooked is my assistant coach, but also the athletic director here, Mr. Norcross. Mr. Norcross does a lot for the athletics at our school, not just for boys and girls soccer, but for basketball and baseball and softball. And his day seems to never end on weekends and at all times of lining fields and doing different things. I think a great round of applause for Mr. Norcross for what he does. I would also like to thank my assistant coaches who are not here today. Mr. Devins and Mr. Broussard, who could not be here today, but they did a lot for our team. We give them a round of applause as well, too. There's so many people to thank, it almost gets to the point when you try to list off the people who you would like to thank, you know you're going to leave people out, but there is one group that is often overlooked in these situations, I find. We always talk about, you know, the players and the coaches and many of the people that you think of right away, but, you know, every day I get to spend time with these boys on weekends and after school and during the spring and summer, and I just learn what wonderful people they are. And I just want to thank, from the kindergarten teachers to the 12th grade teachers, thank you for all that you do to help us, you know, form the great people that we do have in this building. And when these kids do leave us, you should all take a very great part in what you have done to generate such wonderful kids in this building. And I see a lot of other ones out there, but I do thank you for the fact that I sit in that 11th and 12th grade classroom and I get to have these wonderful people walk into my room every day or walk out to my practice every day. And it's the things that Mrs. Arthur has done and Mrs. Rovers and all these teachers before and Mrs. Goodrow and others who have done so much for us. And I thank you for all that you have done to help with these children and make them into the great boys and great girls that they are. Thank you. I would like to bring up our ball boys. I know the two ball boys for sure, Josh Berry and Al Capri. I'd like to have them come up. But also there was others who did ball boy throughout the year, so I'd like to have all of them come up as well too. Great boys in the Obviously, we are very proud of what the boys did this weekend and what they have done throughout this whole year. They have done so much at times. I think many people question whether we would get to this point, but it does make it so much sweeter. Obviously, we are very excited as a team to what we accomplished yesterday and throughout the season, but as Mr. Dumoulin said, it made it very, very special to know that we are coming home last night, the only school in the only town in New York State to say that we are state champions in boys and girls soccer. There's no one else, there's no other school and no other town who's having an assembly like we're having here today. I think it's a very special day for our students, for our school, and for our community. And we give a round of applause to both teams. And before I introduce the teams, I just got an email before I came down here from, many of you remember Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer's mom just sent me an email, and she said that yesterday he was in his dorm room, and he thought, like many of you probably did, thought you could listen to the Wiry play-by-play online. And he's going to school in Boston now, and so he thought he could listen to it online. And he went on and it wasn't working, and so he didn't know what to do, so he said, heck with it, I'll call Wiry. So he got on the phone and called Wiry and asked what the problem was, and they said, we're sorry, it's only going to be on the radio, you cannot get it online. He said, well, is there any way you can send me updates or something so I know what is going on? I'm in my dorm room, I'm going crazy not knowing what's happening. And the person at the desk at Wiry said, well, hold on, let me put you on hold and I'll see what I can do. So they put him on hold, and when he put him on hold, Wiry Radio was what he was listening to on hold. So when the lady came back on and said, there's not much I can really do for you, I'm sorry, son, you just have to get calls from somebody. He said, would you mind if you put me on hold for the next 2 hours? So for the next 2 hours, he had his cell phone on speakerphone, and he listened. He was on hold at Wiry for the next 2 hours. And then he said people were walking by his room thinking he was nuts while he was screaming into a cell phone. And then he said at that point, people in his dorm room thought he was nuts anyway, so when we scored, he ran down the halls pretending he was an eagle. So that just goes to show you how special this town is and how special this sport is in our little town. Kenny probably never thought I'd be telling that story to a whole auditorium full of people, but you blame your mom for that, Kenny. I'd like to introduce the members of the 2007 Boys State Championship team. Captain Kyle Fountain. Senior Jonah Curtin. Senior Stephen Bombard. Junior Nathan Racine. Junior Chris Felici. Junior Brad Hansen. Junior Captain Jason Baker. MVP of the Final Four and scored all 3 goals of the weekend, Stephen Fields. Senior Tyson Dupri. Senior Eric Martin. Junior Ben Baker. The Mysterious Eagle. 8th grader Jordan Barrier. Senior Perry Latchmore. Sophomore Andrew Lapierre. Sophomore Shay Howard. Sophomore Tyler Boris. Freshman Caleb Snide. Senior Jacob Beeman. Cover of the Press Republican, Senior Kyle Reynolds. Senior Galen Trombley. Junior Kenny Boris. And Captain Nolan Ryan. Again, I thank you all for all the support you've given us, and thank you for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Dumlin and Coach McAuliffe. Just a few closing words, and then we're going to get ready for dismissal. We're going to start with the elementary in dismissal, but before we get to that, there are some thank yous that need to go out there. One person I'd like to recognize, he was the voice behind the PA system all season long. Our very own Adrian Engelhardt did a super job. Stand up, please, Adrian. Adrian, where are you? Stand up, get some recognition. There he is. I'd like to point out, it does cost money to send 2 teams to the Final Four. A great deal of money, because they do have appetites. And we got motel rooms, we got bus transportation, etc. Speaking of bus transportation, big round of applause for the 2 bus drivers, for the girls, Mr. Tim LaPointe, and for the boys, Mr. Doug Peeling. One group I'd like to point out would be the Chazy Athletic Association. On the Wednesday before teams were starting to head down to the Final Four, the girls leaving on Thursday, the boys leaving on Friday, the Chazy Athletic Association presented to each team $1,000, which represents an awful lot of Mickey's fries. Thank you, Chazy Athletic Association. Another fact that people don't know about that is an indicator of our community. Chazy Orchards, for the last 2 seasons, have traditionally for all sports, not just soccer, have given a bag of apples for not only our teams participating, but also the opposing teams participating. They deserve a nice big round of applause as well. There was a situation that occurred before the season even started that was an electrical problem. And there was our senior maintenance worker, Mr. Jim McComb, and our maintenance worker, Mr. Kevin Garrow, were very instrumental in making sure that we had lights for our brand new soccer field this year. And I'd like to give them a big round of applause. I would like to thank the Board of Education for making this very possible, for taking the foresight to include in the budget some money to help out with the Final Four. I would like to also thank a member of the Board of Education, actually, who was the voice in the wiry broadcasts that were being made, Mr. Joey Tremblay, and his sidekick, Mr. Joe Poisson. And last but certainly not least, what makes this all possible would be you, the fans. So what everybody needs to do in the crowd is raise your right hand, slap your back, your left shoulder, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you, fans of Chazy. Okay, everybody, we're going to be having dismissal with the first grade. Please assemble, and Mrs. Owen, we're going to have them going out on the exit near the piano over here.